everybody. Good afternoon, Aggie Land, and we welcome you back inside the TexAgs studio. It is episode number 12 of Looch Bock. I'm Gabe Bock. He is the source, Billy Liucci. We're live every Wednesday, normally noon, going a little early today, texags.com/live, and on the TexAgs YouTube channel and the podcast platform of your choice. Search Looch Bock and subscribe to the podcast. Looch Bock, presented by Bock Realty Group, luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment, real estate, more. BRG, a two-time Aggie 100 company. Let's start a conversation. Email me, Gabe at BockRealtyGroup.com. Bock Realty Group, turning our experience into your advantage. Mrs. Bock came up with that tagline. Pretty dang good. Aggies continue to roll, sitting 9-0, perfect at 6-0 in SEC play, still ranked number 3 in the latest college football playoff rankings. And finally back at Kyle Field for the first time in over a month, 33 days. Elko in this particular group continues to answer all these challenges, and this time it was go on the road for 3 straight games, face 2 teams ranked at the time, and come back 3-0, and it's exactly what they did. So here we go. And they capped it with a 21-point second-half beatdown of Missouri and Columbia. And right off the top, Liucci, what in the world do you have in that cup? Drinking some greens.
I'm going to tell you, yeah, it ain't that good.
I was going to say.
It ain't that good.
I just peeked over to welcome you back on air. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing?
We're going to have to get like a water, guys, in studio to wash that down when I'm done with it.
Liucci's drinking some sort of liquid greens over here. Megan is an experimenter of health products in terms of natural eating and everything. Yeah. So she's probably got some of that.
Yeah,
she's trying to get me on it.
Don't do it, buddy. Don't do it. She eat vegetables. All right, well,
all right, man.
3-0 in that stretch, Gabe.
Yeah,
that is. And remember that 4-game stretch we saw of Florida, Arkansas, LSU, and Missouri. And I think my thought was like to get to 10 wins, the path was. You had to split with Notre Dame and Auburn, and then you had to win. No, I'm sorry. The path to get to 10 wins was you had to beat Notre Dame and to me, win September. 9 was to split with them. That was like to hit 9 and improve off 8 and 4.
Yeah.
To get to 10 was to win September and to go 3-1 in that 4-game stretch. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the thing. If you could go 3-1 in that 4-game stretch, then knowing I thought you could get to 10. You could split. You know, we thought South Carolina was going to be.
I did.
3-1, and then you had Texas or Notre Dame. You had to split with them. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the path. But that didn't include Auburn, who we thought was going to be much better. That didn't include South Carolina, who was coming off the year they had. So that was kind of assuming you were going to go beat Auburn and South Carolina. Then you split with Texas and Notre Dame and go 3-1 in those 4, and there's your 10-2. They're gunning for more than that now, and they're playing like it. They're playing like it. 3-1. Here's the deal: 3-1 in that 4-game stretch. I think that went out the window. About mid-third quarter, about the time Casey Concepcion crossed the goal line. In Baton Rouge, that was like, okay, you're going to just go ahead and go 4-0 in this stretch because you're the better team than all these guys.
Yeah.
And you knew that even going into Baton Rouge. You felt like Aggies would win, but it was a close game right up until that point. That first 2 drives of that third quarter, or the first drive and the punt return in Baton Rouge, was when it's like, okay, they're better than every other team on their schedule, including and certainly Missouri. You go on the road, a tough environment, quality defense, disruptive front 7, harder to run on than most of your opponents. Good enough team to be dangerous.
Yep.
And a great running game. Now, the quarterback situation, look, that's why A&M beat them as badly as they did. Bo Prabula was not any good either. And there was a subset of Missouri fans that were kind of excited to see what Zollers can do because they felt like the Prabula one had run its course.
Zollers is the future.
Yeah. And he wasn't. The future did not start on Saturday. It didn't. A&M treated him, Gabe, and you and I have been doing this forever.
Yeah.
You probably can do a better job of going down the list of names like the Shea Patterson. I remember back in the Big 12 days, some random dude, I think A&M won this game, but some random guy from a bad Kansas team, a freshman, came in, and we're sitting here going, this guy, I mean, I'm exaggerating, right?
Well,
This
we've
guy's
made
going to be
Kyle
the
Wright
next
look like
Joe
a Heisman
Montana.
winner.
Kyle Wright from Miami.
Robert Marv.
There's been what's the guy a couple of years ago they got benched?
From which school?
Miami, that transferred from Pitt.
Van Dyke?
Yeah, Alex Van Dyke shredded A&M. We're like, oh, wow. You're combining him and Shannon Dawson. That's going to be a hell of a, what?
He
a
looked
month
like a
later,
first-round pick
benched.
against us.
Yeah.
And 9 months later, he's at Wisconsin.
So we've seen that a million times, that story play out. Hell, I watched A&M get beat by Case McCoy at this field. So
worst quarterback ever to win at Kyle Field as an opposing
like
team.
it.
Scaredest quarterback ever to walk away as a winner as a visiting team here.
Yep. And so to just assume that a guy that hasn't played, that actually made some nice throws against Vandy the week earlier.
Yeah.
But A&M did what you got to do to a guy like that. They went out and got after him. They never let him get comfortable. They never let him get confident. He was scared for his life. I know they got run on to the tune of 200-something yards and 200-yard backs, but they also stopped the run consistently enough to keep Mizzou in some second and third and longs enough to where they could pressure him and alter that football game. Missouri didn't score until it was 21-0. They did nothing like of consequence on offense. Every time they did something, A&M answered.
You're
Aggies
exactly right.
I mean, here's the deal, Gabe.
Yep.
We'll talk about the rankings, I'm sure, but more and more people around college football are saying this looks like a national title contending team. This team can win. This is what they're saying. And these are not Aggies. I don't know, like some of you listening from other fan bases, y'all love to, you live in denial. I don't know why. Like, you know how, Gabe, they don't want to give me credit for, like, I think I don't understand how much goes into this job, and frankly, how good I am at it.
You don't just sleep till noon every day?
I don't know.
Pull all-nighters?
I do that. And you want to take away from this and how long we've been doing it, but there's a reality here, and it is you're a fool or a damn fool if you think I haven't spent the last several weeks talking to people all around college football that your insiders wish they could touch. And I'm saying this pissed off because it's a direct message to some people. But for the last month, I've been talking to people on every level of college football, current head coaches, ex-head coaches, national media, SEC media, local media, people that teams that A&M is playing, you name it. And I've watched it build up as these wins have stacked. And I've watched some thought processes change of some of these people that you really like and that you wish I didn't talk to because it'd make you feel better about your narrative. But your narrative sucks. Therefore, I do talk to them regularly, if not daily. And to watch that shift take place over the last month or so has been, and some of them shifted after Notre Dame because they kind of said that was all it was missing.
And some have waited, but kind of around the LSU period of time.
Yeah.
You saw that with the SEC Network crew.
And we said that.
Yeah.
If you go in Death Valley, it's going to carry more weight than even the actual team you beat. And the other thing I'd say to people that they're doing this fired coach thing. When A&M played LSU, they were 5-2 in the top 15, or whatever they were. I think they were top 15, where a win could have got them in and around the top 10. They had playoff aspirations.
Auburn was coming off, should have beaten. They got screwed out of OU.
Should have beaten OU.
Should have been up 17-0 on Georgia.
Florida was coming off of beating what they're pretending, trying to convince everyone is a top 10 Texas team. Florida had just beaten them. Napier was obviously fighting for his job. If anything, A&M got him fired. And then Missouri, look, I know they're a different team. And I know even though Pribula is not that good, they're better with that experience.
Yeah.
But they got run off the field. There's multiple 21-point leads for A&M, a 21-point victory. Could have been 28 if they'd have wanted it to there at the end after recovering that kickoff. And Mizzou went into that game. There was no coach on a hot seat. There was no nothing. Mizzou went into that game with playoff aspirations. They're like, A&M's the toughest team we have left. If we beat them, we could win out. Now, I think they might lose out.
Oh, that would have jolted them 10 spots.
Yeah, and I think that shocked their system. But when A&M went into that game, that was a 6-2 or 7-2 football team.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're playing Penn State this weekend, Indiana, that was preseason number 2 that hadn't been ranked in 6 weeks.
That
fired
five-game
their
losing
coach.
skid. Yeah.
It's completely different, and I see people trying to make the comparison. But what I'm getting at, Gabe, is like you said, like about a couple weeks ago, and even more so now, people have really come around to the idea of not they're a contender, but they're openly telling me Texas A&M can win a national title this year. That carries a lot of weight and magnitude because they have nothing to do with A&M. And in some instances, they've been people that have been really slow, if not loath, to give A&M credit. It's been fascinating to watch. Right. Obviously, they got to keep it going this weekend, but we're talking about what just happened. And they went on the road, and people thought they might be tested. It was a trap-type game against a good team, and they beat the brakes off.
And they squeezed you out, and they did what Bama and Georgia, the great Bama and Georgia teams did, and they scored right before half and made a play. Like, that was 7-0 with a minute left in the second quarter, and they made a freaking play. And how often is Sanford in the middle of the big plays? I mean, I don't know if we're 9-0 without him. He makes big plays to change games.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the plays, and it's Notre Dame. It's
tight game against State,
or the interception against Mississippi State. It was obviously this one. There was one in between. I know he makes plays. It seems like every week, but there was one in between too that I'm forgetting. It was York with the interception against Florida there, or that was the forced fumble against Florida. But no, that was Sanford. Torian recovered it. Yeah,
and they were hot before then.
Yeah,
they scored in the first 2 drives.
Yeah. So I mean, he does it again.
He does it again.
Big game for Dalton. Like, look, here's
big game for Dalton. That's right.
Let me tell you this.
Dalton.
This is what
Dalton.
I was texting with him today. Let me put it to you like this. Texas A&M, Nick, when you get done, can I get another water?
He's eating greens.
So
liquid greens.
A
little bit hot.
Let me hit you with this.
But we're 9-0. You can cap whatever temperature you want.
Let me hit you with this one. So Texas A&M. You mentioned Georgia and Bama, how they just, they can just big play. You know who does that the most this year? It's A&M. Georgia's not getting enough of it. Bama's not getting enough of it.
That's right.
Bama, you look at how they played Missouri. You look at how Georgia played Florida. You look at how Georgia played Auburn. And I know the A&M Auburn game was tight, but watch those 2 games and tell me which team dominated, which team was kind of fortunate to get out of there.
Yep.
You can do this on common opponents right now and start to really get it. Look at LSU against A&M and Bama a game later. I'm using Georgia and Bama because they're there at the top. It's really interesting. And the thing about A&M, Gabe, is they are coming out and they're beating you by just wearing you down. You look at the rushing yards, first half, second half. Take away the 48 on the fake punt. They still ran for like almost 170 in the second half after running for 23 in the first. With the fake punt, they're well up over 200.
You should watch the game with my kids. 1 and 2 yards at a time. And they're like, stop doing it. No, you got to keep doing it because eventually the dam breaks. You got to keep leaning on them.
Great game of, hey, let's take what they're giving us. Short tight end.
For sure.
Passes to the receivers. Short to the tight end. Run a little bit. Boom. And then Marcel says, okay, I'm going to use my legs here because I need this 3rd down. Haven't done it all game. First down. Okay, 2nd and 12. Let's put this thing away. I'm going to run for 25. So they're wearing on you. They are ground and pounding you like they did Florida, like they did, as the game wears on, they take a toll. Mississippi State, LSU, look at these second halves.
Definitely.
But like you said, you mentioned Bama. But they're also, just in this game alone, they clearly wore Missouri down. They use their depth. They use their physicality. Thank you. They use the lines of scrimmage. Clearly, that is when you watch it, that's the storyline. But they had a 48-yard fake punt. They had a turnover right before half that you talked about that led directly to a 2 or 3 yard touchdown drive on a forced fumble run back. They had a 48-yard touchdown on a screen pass because Casey Concepcion's the best player on the field.
And Marcel checked into that. That was very
veteran.
Yeah.
And they had a 57-yard touchdown run from Ruben Owens. So I just named 4 like game-changing plays. Turned in, if you count Damian as the one that caused the sack, turned in by 4 different players. And they did that while also beating you up and wearing you down with physicality. So this is not like the old Wisconsin teams. This is not like, you know, I'm trying to think of the old Bama teams before Saban really opened up. This is more like the championship Bama teams. I know they're not that dominant on defense, and I know it's different, but my point is they can beat you any which way, and that carries into the postseason.
Yeah.
That plays.
Look, I think this is fascinating. Just saw this. This is from ESPN Insights. In each year following the inaugural college football playoff in 2014, the eventual national champion was ranked in the top 3 in the second college football playoff rankings.
Wow.
So the second rankings, the playoff, going back to the second year. Now this is now 11 years of data in a row. The national champion has come from a team ranked in the top 3 the second week of the rankings. So for the second straight week, it's still Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M. And I think those are the 3 best teams. And it doesn't really piss me off that Indiana's ahead of us. What pisses me off is Mack Rhoades trying to justify why Indiana's ahead of us while also hiding the fact that he did get a degree from Indiana. But nonetheless.
He got a degree from Indiana.
How can you talk about playing a freshman quarterback when y'all had them ranked 22nd, but not mention Penn State had a freshman backup quarterback?
It's like that. So they every time they open their mouth, they sound disingenuous and they sound like, I don't think there's a purposeful bias, but I think sometimes you can't help yourself. And when he's an Indiana grad and Heather Dinich is an Indiana grad and she's up there yapping about it every week.
Yep.
He's up there yapping about it every week. It doesn't feel right. And
we know he's a meathead because he's already getting investigated by his own school.
And that's ridiculous. And the other part is, like, there's a couple people on that committee that desperately wanted to be the athletic director here. One's in Fayetteville and one's Mack Rhoades. Like, and they're not. What do you think their feelings are towards A&M? I just think, and I don't think it's on purpose, but I think they're looking at A&M in a way that they're not looking at Indiana. The Mandalorian, Stuart Mandel, does his tweet like, oh, A&M's record against their look at what Indiana's conference record is going to be, because you count Oregon and you say their Oregon win was better than A&M's Notre Dame win, which is a weird thing to say anyway, when you think that Oregon has beaten no one except Iowa, and that Iowa team lost to a middle-of-the-pack Big 12 team in Iowa State. So, like, there is a Big 10 bias from some of these people that they refuse to recognize because they're so worried about the words SEC bias.
Let alone 5 members of the committee are Big 10 ties.
And Klatt has been fine this year, but like Klatt, Mandel, anybody over there in the Pacific Northwest and the Athletic that came from, the old Pac-12, the whole Big 10 contingent, like, it's fine. I know the SEC gets over talked about, but you guys do it too. Like, Gus Johnson giving the Heisman out to every single player on national TV every week, every single player that makes a play.
I didn't think Gus was coming back from that.
I mean, it was brutal. I know he's your guy. I like Gus as personally. I think he's great, but that was ridiculous. And gives the Heisman, that you would be like that. Gives the Heisman to everyone though. It's like, dude. So
he hadn't been like that since Steph Curry, Davidson.
I got it again. But I'm sitting there watching these people say all this, and I'm going, just apply it, like you said, both ways. If you're going to talk about Oregon being a better win than Notre Dame, then you have to take Oregon out. This is how you break it down, guys. You're on a freaking committee. Figure the shit out. If you're going to match up Oregon to compare with A&M's win over Notre Dame, then you don't get to also count them in their strength of conference record, because you're already using that to negate the best thing A&M's done. So that's out. So now when you look at conference record, now go do the Big Ten teams that they play and their conference record. And by the way, conference records, it's not apples to apples anyway.
Well, what would those teams look like in the SEC? What would
That's the
Arkansas
point.
look like?
Yeah.
They're a 2-win team, but would they be on?
Like Arizona
some of those
State beat
schedules?
Tech, who lost to Mississippi State, who's at the bottom of the SEC. Like,
Exactly.
you just say, we got Indiana up here, we got A&M here, we're not going to move them down until they lose. I think they'll move A&M up when they beat Texas, and that's an if, I get it, but if they go beat Texas, they'll move up over Indiana. I don't think there's any way they couldn't, but here's why it matters, Gabe.
Well, it matters because if you're the number 2, you get to pick your destination in the bowl game. So
Okay.
number 1, Ohio State will go to the Rose, and then number
Cotton.
2, do we want Cotton or not?
Yeah.
Because Indiana would pick Cotton. Why wouldn't they?
I think A&M
Middle of the heartland.
I think A&M would pick Cotton if given the choice.
Guaranteed.
But it matters for that. It matters because you can act like it, but if A&M went into that SEC title game at 3 and lost to number 4 Bama,
Bama passes.
there's a world where they could drop A&M to 5. Now they shouldn't, and they claim they don't punish for being in the top. But are we going to sit here and act like they really wouldn't? And it also makes me wonder, what do you really think of A&M's resume? Because quite honestly, they can't rank them lower than 3 right now. They just,
there's no way.
it would be the biggest joke in the history. They can't do it. So, but it kind of is like, how far do they drop them if A&M does lose 1? And we're assuming they're in with 2 losses. How far do they drop them with 2? Because it gives me a little indicator that they're like, okay, we have them here because we have to.
The protectors, we beat Notre Dame. They
Yeah.
can't drop us below that.
Yeah, I think they're fine
I
at
think
10
we're
and 2,
in.
and I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to go 10 and 2. But I'm just
Exactly.
saying it does matter, and here's probably the most significant way it would matter, Gabe. If A&M, because I think they're for sure number 2 if they win out and win the SEC title game or 1. So,
Mm-hmm.
but if the Aggies were to lose a game, not go to the SEC title game, okay.
11-1.
If you're 2, you're going to probably drop 1 spot higher in the, lower in the rankings, higher, I guess you'd say, than you would if you're 3, right? Is that fair? I think that's common sense. Let's say they drop from 2 to 6, which I think would be too much. But let's say they drop from 2 to 6.
This is an 11-1 A&M team.
And then
at 6,
Georgia,
okay?
if Georgia lost to Georgia Tech,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just comes down to like A&M, Tech, or Oregon. And I don't think A&M would drop below Oregon. But an 11-1 A&M, 11-1 Oregon, and like a 12-1 Tech. If Tech wins their, like, it could cost you the 4 versus 5 spot. Or even Georgia gets into the SEC title game and loses. Normally you'd go, well, we don't punish them. But then they're a 2-loss team. They only got into it because of a tie break. They don't have, or Ole Miss. Like, that loss, because of if you're 2 versus 3, could be the reason you don't get a bye. Or some people say, well, they're not going to get a bye if they lose and don't go to the SEC title game. You could, especially if you were number 2, first of all. But the other part of that is there's a pretty definitive difference between 5 and 6 in that final thing.
Well, 5, you're playing a fringe top 25 group of 5 team.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
6,
and you're doing it at
playing
Cal
a Power 4, probably, or Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Rematch here.
very, very possible.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame or one of the low end like SEC or Big Ten teams, not low end, but I mean that got in. So probably another top 15 Power
You don't think
5.
the committee wouldn't want to do a rubber match there in the last year?
There's
and
a
half
huge
between those
difference.
three,
Yeah, there's
too?
a huge difference between 5 and 6, and obviously it goes without saying 4 and 5. So if those things are factual, then by God, there's a big difference even today between 2 and 3. That's all I'm saying. So
Yeah.
people that, and not you, but everyone that's acting like, I don't care, let's just play it out. We are going to play it out. And I think A&M is going to win their next 3 games and be 12-0. And then it won't matter. But if they do lose a game, they shouldn't get punished more than these other teams where it's like if they lose, they're going to suffer this.
You can see it happen.
Yeah, you can kind of watch it and see and
they're begging to put Bama and Georgia over us.
A&M at 1 loss should be no lower than 5. And I could make, depending on how things shake out, you can make a really strong case that they should be sitting there in that 4 hole. And the way it's setting up is you're probably more on that 5-6 than you are on that 4-5. And then the other one, the wild card, is if they do go to the SEC title game and lose, I don't trust these people. I just don't.
You know what's great, though? This isn't a 14 playoff. It's a 12-team playoff, and we're sitting here 9-0, and South Carolina stinks, and we're going to beat them, and we're going to beat them by 3+ scores.
You better watch out, dude. Beamer's watching.
Oh, of course he's listening. But
apparently he called out Nuno today, like
he did
indirectly, like he subtweeted him verbally.
Hey,
because they talked about that.
Beamer, Dorkwitz, and Dabo are just beyond me. But let me tell you something.
They don't fit the stereotype ball coach.
We're going to be 11-0 going to Austin. We're better than them.
Yeah.
And we're in a situation where you're a win against a very inferior opponent at Kyle Field away from definitely being 11-0. And we're talking about seeding and not whether you get in. And that's a great place to live.
It is. And here's the other thing. You
come at me, Beamer.
Even if all that happens, you somehow drop a game, whether it's regular season, SEC title game. We've watched this team, and the committee should be watching, but people around the country watching college football are watching, and it doesn't change the fact that A&M can go in that playoff and navigate whatever road is put in front of them.
This team's different, man.
It's that simple. It really is. Different. Like undefeated A&M, SEC champ A&M, 1-loss A&M. It doesn't matter. They're not a team you're going to want to see, and they're going to be adding a guy by the name of Le'Veon Moss about that time that rolls around too, maybe even a little sooner. And yeah, okay, everyone that gets to that championship game is going to have to win 2 or 3 games to get there. And if it's 3 for A&M, one of them is going to be at home. I'd prefer it to be 2. Now, some people would say, hey, the team with the bye lost all 4 games. It's too small a sample size. It's too small.
1 year.
It's one of those teams was Boise playing Penn State. The other one was Arizona State playing Texas. The other one was Oregon and Ohio State.
It's 4 or 3 games, right?
All 4.
Because if you get a bye, you still have 8 teams left, 8, 4, and 2. So you still have to win.
No.
3 games.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying if you get the bye, I said to get there.
Yeah, oh, okay. Get there. I got you.
I don't know why I said it like that. Okay. To play for a national title. But Boise lost to Penn State. Georgia lost to Notre Dame with Gunnar Stockton starting for the first time in his career.
Yeah.
And then Arizona State, Texas, and Ohio State, Oregon was a coin flip. So I don't think there's anything to glean into that. I would love to see A&M get a home playoff game. Problem with that means they have to lose a game. That means they have to lose on Saturday or to Texas, and we don't want either one of those. So give me that bye.
Give me the bye.
I would love a playoff game at A&M, but I would love for A&M to start off in the Elite 8 and go from there.
That's right.
And I would love to sit there and look at that bracket and go, if A&M wins these 2 games, they're playing for the national championship in Miami. Give me that all day, because it also would mean A&M beat Texas. It would also mean A&M played for the SEC title for the first time and perhaps won it. All of those things. And if they won it, it would also mean that we're going to be playing an Elite 8 game in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl.
It's a great conversation.
Get by South Carolina first.
Great conversation to have. It's amazing being at the forefront of the conversation. I had no idea how triggered Indiana football fans were. I think they've had such bad basketball success since Oladipo left the building that they've just been pent up. In the year that their best coach ever, Corso, retires on TV, now all of a sudden they've got this magical run. And it's the basketball fans coming out of the woodwork, darn near suicidal. I mean, it's unbelievable.
About Mbako.
I think they are. I mean, it's unbelievable how triggered they are on social media. You make one comment and they come at you like Vol Nation. But it's unbelievable. They're Sooner fans.
They are weak from the standpoint of, like, it doesn't. them and Ohio State don't bother me because they just
Why don't they enjoy the ride though?
You kind of just drain it, just block it out because it's so much volume, and they all say the same thing. That It's like
they all say, "What about Arkansas?"
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, man. It doesn't. I would love to see A&M play Indiana, and the problem is, I think Indiana's really good. I think Ohio State's great. I think Ohio State's a top 3 program in college football in my watching experience. And I mean, hell, my first year doing this, Ohio State beat the brakes off of A&M in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, it was not on the scoreboard, but they just outclassed the Aggies in that game. That was a great A&M team. That was the last time A&M won a conference championship. I've never hated Ohio State. I've actually got a lot of friends that are Buckeyes. But just the fans, chill out. It's not that serious. And you're not going to make it serious either. No one's taking it seriously. It must be a Big Ten. I think it's a Big Ten thing because I think they have an inferiority complex. Ohio State doesn't have it towards A&M, and that's where they get sideways. They have to do this. Oh yeah, we're really worried about A&M. No, that's not what we're saying. But I do think you do have it towards the SEC.
Oh, for sure.
Still going back to Bama and Florida and Georgia. You've got the inferiority complex towards the SEC. It's not necessarily A&M, but you shouldn't because whether you're in the Big Ten, SEC, or whatever, your top 3 program in the last 30 years, and you're a top 5 program all time, and I might be underselling them by saying that. So, it's silly. Indiana look, the reality is Indiana and A&M, you got 2 fan bases that haven't been in this position before.
Don't even know what to do with my hands right now.
The Aggies kind of in 2020 battling it out to make that 4 team.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, the other thing too, I think the Heisman Trophy winner is going to come from one of those top 4 teams. We'll probably get to that point, although Pavia is one of the 5 best players in the country. It's probably Ohio State's quarterback, Indiana's quarterback, A&M's quarterback, or Bama's quarterback.
Or Georgia's or Ohio State's receiver.
Right.
And I don't think Stockton or Smith's going to win it, but
our guy's right there.
To me, if I'm listing the best players, and I'm sorry to Rodriguez at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Tech in a minute. This thing's just, I can't take it. But Rodriguez is damn good. He should win the Butkus.
He's good.
He's awesome. But you're not winning a Heisman and save your breath. But now, if it works and he gets an invite to New York, more power to Tech. I would have loved to see back then if A&M could have got that win invited, as a top 5 Heisman finalist. So I don't begrudge them for that. I'm just saying he's not going to.
Great player, great story.
Not going to win it.
Yeah.
He could get there if they do 5. But Jeremiah Love, Jeremiah Smith, Rodriguez, and then the ones you mentioned.
Plus Pavia.
Gunnar Stockton, Smith, Sayin, Reed, Mendoza, right? In some form or fashion, I think all 5 of them will be playing on championship weekend. It's going to be either Stockton or Reed, in my opinion, and that's likely to be.
Are you eliminating Simpson?
I meant to say him.
Okay.
Too.
Okay.
So that's 5, though, right?
Yep.
It's 4. Well, it's 6. It's 4 quarterbacks, Smith, and then that one is Reed or Stockton, right?
Yep.
So they'll all be playing championship weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of those guys. I guess 2 in Sayin, and there's one other one that gets a little bit different of a platform. Julian Sayin's playing Michigan the week before, and Marcel Reed's playing Texas. If Marcel and the Aggies beat Texas, and Reed has just a Marcel Reed type of game, 280, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, that type of night, and they beat Texas with the whole world watching.
Big moment, like a big long run.
Yeah, just something where you just go, man, he's just showing out.
Yep.
A good game. Again, I don't think it has to be like, oh my God. If he does that, then it's a whole different story. But let's just say, good game. Then you go to the SEC title game and you play Bama, undefeated A&M, 1 loss Bama, number 3 versus number 4, or maybe number 2 versus number 4 at that point. And if Marcel Reed goes off and has a Notre Dame or LSU type of game in the in the Mercedes-Benz Dome on the same day that maybe Sayin and the Buckeyes just overwhelm Mendoza and then we get him out of there, you get Ty Simpson out of there, Stockton's out of there by not being in the game. So it really comes down to Marcel or Jeremiah Smith. I mean, Julian Sayin.
Oh, Sayin.
Marcel or Sayin, with maybe a little Pavia. We'll talk about him in a minute. I got a
wild card.
But it comes down to Marcel and Sayin. And the reality is, if Marcel has beaten Notre Dame, the Fighting Freaking Irish, on a last-second pass in front of touchdown Jesus, he goes into DKR and beats that brand, the Longhorn on the helmet, and the burnt orange, and then he goes and beats, of all teams, Alabama, led by another Heisman candidate / finalist. You're going to look at Sayin and go, there might be 3 or 4 guys on his own team better.
Oh yeah,
that's when that's how Marcel can take that thing.
I do have a lot of respect for Julian Sayin as a freshman. What he's doing,
stud, dude.
I think he might win it twice. I just hope and don't think he's going to win it this year. He's
really good. You watch him.
Good.
He's nice. There's no question.
Let me ask you about this. Let's spend a couple minutes on Rueben Owens.
Mm-hmm.
12 carries, 102, 2 touchdowns. He's kind of been a game ender for you here when you needed it. He's come along when you absolutely needed it most. Remember when Moss went out last year, he was also out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now he's come of age. He's had some coronation moments. This kid is special, I think. I mean, what does his continued growth mean for A&M, even when Moss eventually does come back?
Well, I mean, this is what Elko and Trooper Taylor and Colin Klein thought they had last summer. And they were so excited about how those 2 guys were practicing. And now Rueben looks like that guy. He's ripping off long touchdown runs. He's making great catches. Made one again Saturday. He's had some huge catches for A&M. I did in the offense and review. I listed out his games. He's just always really solid, and then sometimes spectacular. Always really solid, and then sometimes spectacular. And when he's solid, there's a couple of spectacular plays mixed in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's really coming into his own. And when you get Moss back, there's not going to be a better running game, I don't think, left in that field. You look at that playoff field, and when you have Moss and now Owens with all his work and the body of work and what he's done against SEC teams, not to mention E.J. Smith, an emerging Jamarian Morrow, a veteran in Amari Daniels, like they've got that thing's about to be. It's crazy that Moss getting hurt, and now you're going to get him back fresh, and you're going to have a proven Rueben Owens. They're going to be so much better than they were when they took the field against Florida that day.
It's not even close. This is a very quarterback-heavy playoff field.
Yeah.
Quarterback-driven, passing game-driven. Nobody can name Indiana's back. Bo Jackson's not Bo Jackson. Lowercase Bo Jackson. Alabama struggles even when Jam Miller is healthy.
Yeah.
Georgia struggles at times. Mm-hmm. Tech can do it. They're pretty good at it.
Tech's one that
obviously it's Notre Dame and then A&M.
Tech's one that bothers me from matchup standpoint for A&M, just the way they spread you out and then they'll run it, and that's kind of like put those linebackers in space, and that is. But I also think A&M's defensive front could manhandle Tech's O-line. I do think that would absolutely be the case in that football game.
Yeah. All right. So Craver and Concepcion again. And I love 15 has been my number. Like, touch the ball 15 times a game on offense, however it looks. And the other day it was 10 catches and 5 carries.
It was like 15 for 165, 170-ish.
Yeah, 168. Yeah. Good job. And a couple touchdowns, of course. Casey's now got 10 within the offense, an additional 2 returning.
Casey
so here's my question.
All-purpose, first-team All-American.
Okay, I was going to ask you. Oh, yeah. Okay. If one, as a receiver, Casey Concepcion is your first-team all-purpose all-SEC player. He's probably making it no matter what.
Yeah,
a Christian Kirk kind of spot.
Yeah.
But if at wide receiver only one Aggie gets it, is it Craver or KC? At this point, if it ended today, who are you giving it to?
I
was thinking about that earlier.
I'd say
I couldn't.
TBD.
Yeah, I agree. But lately, KC's been the bell cow.
Yeah, KC's he's a ball player. I'm sitting here going, Craver's going to pop out with one of those 200-yard games again soon too. 160. I think he's going to have like 150, 160, 170-yard game in Austin, or in imagine getting him on that turf in the Georgia Dome.
Oh man,
if they get in there against that Georgia secondary, and I think they can do it against Bama too. So I think that game is coming for number one as well. Another one of those games.
So unique, and we never would have seen this, never in a million years under Jimbo. But the flexibility to say, you know what, Naboo lost 2 plays in a row up front, inside. They're kind of getting him. And I don't know if this was a plan going in, but they switched to Zune at center. And they used Zune a lot at center. 35 snaps coming in on the year at center for him.
Yeah.
And they used him a lot. Do you think that was a matchup in a game, Father at left tackle, or did they find something they may use moving forward?
Well, it's twofold. They're gonna change it up weekly. Okay, like the way the reps go, and that's what they worked on this whole summer, this whole off season. I didn't say anything about Zune to center until camp started. I don't know. I just thought it would be just a talking point I didn't want to get into that where that room was over talking about it, but I think I don't know when Armage went out. But it did time up. Yeah. It did time up with Naboo having a couple bad reps there. But also, then you realize Armage, I'd have to go back and rewatch the tape, but Armage was out, came out after halftime in street clothes. Elko said he's fine. So I don't know. I'm not saying this. It could have been that Armage wasn't playing well at guard, and that was why they made the move. But regardless of why, whether it was injury or whether it was performance-based, they have the ability to do that other teams don't have. And that's a testament to them keeping 7 starters without one of them transferring. Because you got Coley and you got Fathery, who don't start, that came back, that could be playing somewhere else. But guess what? They're both playing. And they're both playing a lot.
Yeah.
Fathery got thrown into a really tough situation Saturday and played great. But also, it's a testament to the versatility of these guys. Of Fathery, okay, you've been right tackle your whole career. Now he's left. Naboo, you're at center. Next snap, we're going to play you at guard. Coley, you're going to come back up. You might be the 3rd string. You might be the 1st string. We never know. And then the biggest one is Trey Zune. Like, you're going to play left tackle. Should be a first-team all-conference left tackle. Call him an O-lineman, whatever. He's one of the 5 best in the league. Then, on the next snap, hey, man, you're going to go to center and finish the game here. And you've never done that before until this year. You know how hard that is? Like, I'd like to talk to Steve and Seth. We need to bring that up Friday.
Well, ask Jeff Hangardner, because he's the last to do it. And he did it going into a year and stayed at
he was not. Yeah, Jeff would be a great person to ask. But, yeah, he wasn't like, moving over there in game and then going back. Like, I'm assuming, I don't know this, but Zune could probably start at left tackle again this week.
Yeah.
You're going to be going up against Dylan Stewart.
You don't see that a lot, man.
No.
He's a special player.
He really is, and he's a special dude. Great family. I was talking to him yesterday. I said, he was in here doing the interview, and I was working. I said, Trey, what? I said, I saw your parents, your family, his aunt's great. Like, mom's awesome. They got, like, great personality. They're like football girls, the whole football family. And I'm walking by a tailgate, Florida, and I'm talking to them, and I tell him that. He goes, yeah. He goes, man, they love it. He's like, he goes, thing is, they'd be doing that if I wasn't playing here. Anyway.
They're Ags, right?
Like, yeah.
That's very cool.
Colorado, but, man, that O-line, they got what other teams don't have, man. And look, they're not going to have that next year. They're going to have to raid the portal. But, I saw something. I don't know if it was on one of the Texas sites. I forget who it was. One of their moderators was adamant that Gooseby would start over Zune. Someone said, would any Texas player start on A&M's offense? And they were like, Gooseby would start over Zune. And then they said Blake Baker would start over Crownover. I'm like, so 2 of your O-linemen would start on a team that's probably going to win the Joe Moore Award when you guys have openly talked all year that is by far the weakness of your offense and the bane of your existence as a football team. But yet 2 of them would start.
I don't see it.
And I went and thought about it.
Now,
and it's a great question.
In ABR spot, like that's the only thing I could consider because he sort of changed them.
Has he though, or are they just throwing screens to him lately against teams that can't keep
that's
up?
true.
Because ABR's been
good too.
He's been doing good too. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Wingo's a stud. I think ABR's a lot faster. I don't, but yeah, I'd say in a 3 wide receiver set, maybe Wing. I'd say
I'll go
Wingo. Wingo, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving because they'll tell you he drops way too many passes. But I'll give him the benefit. I'll go him, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's it. And if you want to say, well, what about healthy Trey Wisner? Then I go, well, then we get a healthy Le'Veon Moss, and the answer is no.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's crazy to say that, though.
It really is
crazy to say that. And again, A&M's going to lose a lot on this O-line, and they're going to have to portal replenish in some areas for sure. But it doesn't matter. We're talking about right now, and they might have a bunch of games left. So
we're coming to grips with that. What Texas never did last year is, oh man, we did lose a lot. They thought they were just going to reload and keep getting better. We know that we got a chance to go win the national championship right here.
And there's some
worry about next year. This is the year.
What's encouraging too is some guys on the defense that would start over there too, and that defense was light years ahead of where A&M was last year.
Yep.
It wasn't even a conversation, you know, and they're still really good. I argue all the time with Amanda whether what are they elite or are they really good? They're going to get a chance to prove it in Athens and against A&M.
Yeah,
and even against Arkansas for that matter. So if you're elite versus just and we know they're good. We know they're really good. They're high-end SEC. Are they at the top? That TBD.
Let's do Dog of the Week, presented by Dogleg Golf, College Station's newest indoor golf simulator facility. Whether you're looking to practice your swing, play a full round with friends without ever having to get out of the golf cart and move around, and just hang out and have some fun, maybe have a business meeting with a golf simulator and a meeting space all in one room, Dogleg Golf has you covered. These top-of-the-line simulators, comfortable bays, laid-back atmosphere, perfect for golfers of all levels, rain or shine. It's always tee time at Dogleg. They have a grand opening this Thursday starting at 4:30 and opening up the doors November 15th. So Saturday, 2551 Texas Avenue South, Suite E1 next to KFC and Brown Shoe Store. Go online. Dogleg, that's Legg, dogleg-golf.com. Again, Billy, Dog of the Week, not necessarily the star of the game in the Missouri game or the absolute best player, but that guy that really just played with that vicious attitude, put his team on the back. Who's your Dog of the Week?
I think I got 2 of them in this one. I got Ruben Owens because Ruben had 22 yards through 3 quarters. So you had to have some dog in you to just hang in there and say it's coming. Like I could tell they're fading. My O-line's stronger. I'm going to hang in there. And he almost broke one right before that. Then he broke it. Then he almost broke another one. He was real close to having a wild, like, Devon A-Chain Orange Bowl type fourth quarter. But he had one of those runs. And then my other one is, you got to say Dalton Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on,
that was mine.
What a cool moment game for him. The fake punt.
Made it look smooth on that, didn't he? And what a design.
It's a great design. He's so fast, and he's shown it more and more on defense, too, especially as a blitzer. He's hell coming off the edge there if you let him creep down and blitz. But that fake punt and then the return, I like what Elko said, though. Roman Harper said the same thing. Like, no. You got to score on both of those. Like, he caught hell. He got tackled twice. The punt was harder because they had those guys already back there. It was almost like when you throw it underneath on a Hail, like it's a Hail Mary, but you just throw it underneath and he wasn't going to hit too much of a shake. It was kind of like just but he looked fast.
But you mentioned his blitz ability. Like, he's not Johnny on the spot to get that forced fumble in the air, mind you, if he's not blitzing the way he did and pursuing the way
he's getting better and better. He's getting better and better. He's
agree.
Starting to really match that athletic ability that every scout that's come through here in the last 2 years has been like, dude, that guy's going to be incredible.
Absolutely. Dog leg, dog of the week. There you go. All right. Buy, sell, rent. Thanks to 12 Oaks Reserve. All new master plan luxury community coming to West Bryan next to Traditions. 12 Oaks, more than a neighborhood. It's a retreat beneath the branches of history. Colonial plantation style architecture. 32 thoughtfully planned and spacious home sites, big lots. And Bach Realty Group's handling sales for this development. So give us a call. You can go to 12oaksreserve.com. Many of you did after yesterday or last week's segment, so appreciate that.
Nice.
Telling you, West Bryan, baby.
That's where you'll put me.
If we had all bought land in the historic district before Johnny and in West Bryan on 47 about 10 years ago, we'd all be doing quite well for ourselves. Look, it's always better to buy yesterday than tomorrow. Some did, absolutely.
I'm not saying I did, by the way.
There might be some green signs out there at some point.
Jesus, Christopher Columbus, Goodwin. Literally like, oh, put a flag here, we'll put a flag there.
Sure. All right, bye.
I got to run out of town and back today. I'll probably see 10
Oh, you will?
Goodwins.
All the way to Dallas and back. They're everywhere.
No, yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, buy, sell, lease. What are you buying, Gabe?
Well, I'm buying Kentucky to find a way to get to a bowl game. Just because it's fun.
Mark Stoops saved himself, didn't he?
He might have saved himself. He beat two bad teams, but did it decisively. They benched DJ Lagway along the way. I mean, this freshman Cutter Boley is not passing out $100 bills online, but he's passing out a lot of touchdowns and is giving them life like he's from right down the street. And guys like Matt Jones and these guys are all fired up over there. But the Wildcats need 2 wins in their last 3. It's Tennessee Tech, so that's one of them. But it's at Vandy, at Louisville.
Tennessee Tech's like 10-0.
Yeah, watch Kentucky lose that game. It's Tennessee Tech at Vandy, at Louisville. They need 2 wins. Buying it.
I'm selling. I don't think they get there.
Okay.
I think they go 1-2.
I'm feeling the Boley magic here.
And
Come
the
on.
reason why is
that's our former coach.
The reason why is I'll tell you. I'm buying the Texas Tech storyline.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't want, because they're also going to pop up in my cell.
Oh.
I don't want Tech, I don't want this to be about they play a BS schedule. And by the way, it's your fault. You scheduled a weak-ass non-conference schedule too. But you're not being held accountable, so it's not your fault. So you did the right thing.
Signetti would call that an SEC-type schedule.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yeah. I think of a good nickname for Signetti.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't yet.
So, I mean, Signerdy, but he
Dorkwitz and Signerdy.
So I'm watching Tech, and I'm like, here's the thing: 2 things can be true. Yeah. They're getting away with the BS schedule, and everybody around the country is too scared to like call it out. I don't know if they feel like they're being mean to the upstart. Hey, we don't want to hate on them. They're doing what they're able to do now, and it's nothing wrong with them buying their way into the club. And this is
they never had a problem ripping us for that signing class.
Exactly, and it doesn't. And it ripped A&M for hiring Jimbo, and ripped A&M for going to the SEC. So you can criticize their schedule, but while also loving the storyline, which is there is a fervor going on out there in Lubbock, in West Texas. It's spreading around, and I feel like I'm about to make a joke about something. Just rewind everything I just said. They are fired the hell up about football in Lubbock, Texas, and it's cool to watch. And as someone that from the Southwest Conference all through the Big 12, like it is cool to watch. I've got no disdain or hatred for Tech people or Lubbock. I've been there a handful of times. It's not somewhere I regularly go. Got nothing against it. It's cool to watch a program enjoy one of these seasons. And I think other people around the country are feeling the same way about A&M. That game day the other day in Lubbock looked awesome. Everybody that left there said it was one of their best experiences. They embraced it. The home atmosphere, I think, has been really something to see, and they got a really good football team. I do think they're getting overhyped because, and I say that thinking that they're a tough matchup for A&M. Not tough as in you're not going to beat them, but like when you go, which one? Like I like certain matchups better. Like I like the way A&M matches up against a Georgia. I don't, maybe more so than I like the way they match up against an Ole Miss. You know, like, so.
I'd rather play Georgia or Bama.
But I like the Tech story. Joey McGuire. Now, I don't think McGuire should be popping off about Notre Dame when the biggest wins you're going to have in your whole season going into the postseason are over two teams from the state of Utah. I know that the Utes and BYU, I've watched my Aggies lose to both of them. But no one's confusing the state of Utah and football in that part of the country with the South. And it's fine. Like, there are good teams out of there. But if you go and that's all you've got on your resume, I wouldn't criticize a Notre Dame team that's going to play Pitt, Miami, USC, and A&M. Like, come on now.
Totally. So that's your sell?
Yeah. No, that my sell as related to Tech is, it's the Tech apologists. It's the media people that just won't sit there and go, well, can we talk about their schedule? Should they be on the brink of getting a bye? Should they be a 5 or a 6 seed ahead of some of these teams? No one's even proposing that question. And Andy said they are. Maybe Andy and Ari are. I haven't heard anyone do that yet. No one.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I'm selling whatever stock I had left in DJ Lagway, who's now benched. Yeah. He looks lost. 83 yards, 3 picks in Lexington. He's got 12 interceptions on the year. And you can find it again when you've got that level of talent. But here's the thing. Like, whoever goes after him in the portal is going to have to spend an obscene amount of money. I hope our guy comes back so we don't have to deal with it. Because, I mean, based on what's my question?
Back. Like Marcel should. In terms of NFL. Like,
yeah. He jumped on the radar now. Now go do it for a year and gain some weight.
He could come back and be a Heisman, 2-time finalist, go and gain some weight. And like,
I mean, he's today's NFL. And Daniels went 1 or 2.
Yeah, his stride as a passer. From last year to this year, if he could do that again to next year, man, he could be a top 5 pick.
It's a side note. I hope Lagway, I mean, we're talking about that from outside looking in 30,000 foot, because whoever's going to do it is going to spend an obscene amount of money, and it's a roll of the dice.
I think Lagway should leave Florida no matter who they hire.
Yep.
Get a fresh start. He needs a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his group, his camp, should think long and hard about, do you want to get the biggest of bags in the portal that you can in case he doesn't play football after that? Or do you believe in his talent, which I do, and do you pick what's the best fit for his skill set, the best coach with the proven track record, and the best players around him, stability in a coaching, and maybe take a little less? And I think I hope that's what they do. I don't care where it is that he ends up, but I hope that's the path they go.
And maybe even sit and learn a system for a year.
Yeah. Don't be short-sighted with this thing. Like, you're playing a long game. He could play football for a long, long time. Just got off to a really bad start with a really bad coach, unfortunately.
All right, renting.
By the way, I'm selling the CFP Talking Heads, Rhodes and Heather Dinich. And again, when they're both Indiana people, it's ridiculous that no one's calling that out. I'm selling Yurachek.
Not my check.
He's literally probably sitting there going, I watched them. Their defense isn't good. We watched them in Fayetteville. I can't imagine. So I'm selling him. If that's the guy representing you, in the SEC, it's disturbing. I'm renting Pavia as a Heisman finalist and someone that could even win it.
Yep.
If Vandy goes 10-2 and makes the playoff, I was going to say a couple weeks ago, I'd say no. But now you look at his stat line against Texas and Auburn and back-to-back. He had 450 yards against Auburn. If he does that against Kentucky and then does that in Knoxville against a team that doesn't have a good defense, and they're 10-2 and the Vanderbilt Commodores are in the playoffs, and I know they got other good players. He's the only reason why.
Oh, yeah.
You have a hard time. Again,
the record's inverted without him.
Out of all those names I said, the only 2 that I would put in there against him would be like Mendoza if he won the Big Ten and beat Ohio State, and Marcel if he went and beat Texas and Alabama and led A&M to an undefeated season when they were picked to go 7-5, 8-4. Those are the only two, though. If Pavia takes them to the playoffs, then one of those two has to do what I just spelled out, or this guy might win it. And I don't know that he doesn't deserve it.
They're closer to 2-8 without him. He's a special kid, special player. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
I'd still like to play him, though.
I'm going to rent Arkansas at LSU.
I think A&M would score 50 on those guys.
I'm going to rent Talon Green, who's still playing for draft potential here, and Bobby Petrino, he's playing out the string at his old stomping grounds. This week at LSU, it's 11:45 in Baton Rouge. I mean, it's going to be about as lame of an environment as you'll ever see in Death Valley. They're done for the year.
I picked them to win that one.
Oh, you did? On your picks. Good. I motivated Bobby P, Talon Green. I think they go on and win it and then get a little bit of momentum before Texas.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
I got that tweet.
Look, he's tough to deal with.
I've got that tweet still. Amanda had a field day with that one. She'll bring it up every once in a while.
Yeah.
I have Petrino greater than Sark. And I was really worried as that shootout was taking place with A&M last month that had they lost that one, they were going to just do a slight edit to it. And she had that one queued up. But I got one of my own.
Fantastic.
I got two of my own. I got one of her laughing when I said A&M to the playoff, and I got that one. So
perfect. All right, let's do Easton's Corner and then a quick preview. A&M and South Carolina. Is Easton's Corner on the 21-point win over Missouri, looking ahead to face South Carolina, and a question about Marcel Reed for Liucci.
This is Easton's Corner, and A&M is 9-0, coming off another dominant win against Missouri, 38-17. We're blowing teams out. We're blowing really good teams out. LSU for a minute there was competing with Alabama, and Alabama was at home. We blew out LSU 49-22 on the road at night, LSU, and cleared the stadium. Alabama was at home against LSU, and they only won 20-10 or something like that. It was a really close game. So I think we're better than Alabama. I think if we make it to the SEC championship, we will beat Alabama. We're 9-0. Dalton Brooks fake punt, 48-yard gain. Nice to see Reuben Owens averaging 7.8 yards a carry, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 57-yard touchdown. Nice to see KC having a nice game. He hasn't had a 100-yard game since Auburn. He hasn't had a 100-yard game since then, and he still didn't 84, but that's another step closer. I think he'll have a 100-yard game in one of the next 3 games. So we're already guaranteed a 10-win season because we're not losing to Sanford. South Carolina, that should be an easy win, favored by 18.5. So we're probably going to be 11-0 going into Austin, which is going to be a more tough game than I thought it would because they've been they beat Vanderbilt, but then at the same time, Vanderbilt went into overtime with Auburn. So I think that we will beat Texas, being 12-0 in the SEC championship. I think we're going to win the SEC championship, and there's no way that we're not number 1 overall seed. My question for you, Billy, is what does Marcel Reed have to do to win the Heisman like Johnny?
All right. He even pointed at Johnny holding that Heisman trophy.
Nice, Easton. I like your setup this week, Easton. Yeah. That was cool.
That's a secret room back there under the stairs.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You can tell it was a little vaulted ceiling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of already answered it right before that. So you're reading my mind, Beaston. I think, like I said, I think Marcel's path to winning this award is for A&M to go undefeated and win the SEC title. And I think if they do that, barring it being 2 really low-scoring defensive wars, but I think if you told me Texas A&M is going to beat South Carolina, Texas, and Alabama in the SEC title game, I would say, well, then I think Marcel Reed's going to win the Heisman Trophy. I think Marcel Reed's going to win the Heisman
What
Trophy.
are you doing with your microphone?
Oh, man, you were looking. All right, so there we go.
All right, breaking it down real quick here. I mean, South Carolina, did you see their statistics in the SEC? They're 16th in total offense, 16th in scoring, 16th in rushing, 15th in passing, 15th on third down, 15th in red zone touchdowns, 15th in sacks allowed,
Against a good
15th
defense.
in big play.
New OC, bye week, Lenore Sellers, Nick Harbor.
And Sellers has been a shell of himself this year.
Pretty dangerous situation coming in here. But you're coming to Kyle Field. Texas A&M fans haven't seen their team in 5 weeks.
We're the motivated
You've got
team.
Marcel Reed, Chance. You're going to be hearing him all day.
Yep.
And by the way, you got a hell of a defense. It's going to be really motivated playing in front of the home folks for the first time again in weeks. This defense has been good all year. They're really damn good at home. I know a new OC can come in and change some, but he's not changing the Kyle Field environment. He's not changing that A&M defense and what's coming at them. And I think the Aggies, I feel comfortable with them winning this one. I respect the opponent of South Carolina because they have players, particularly at the skill spots. And I think Sellers is an absolute beast. But I think this defense should be doubly, triply motivated to make sure he has a really long afternoon at Kyle Field.
And he's been going down this year. Remember last year you bounced off like a pinball. I mean, I think we get
these
home.
guys should be motivated to gang tackle him every time he's, and to deliver some pretty vicious hits in the form of a pass rush, because that's one thing they do not do is protect him either.
They don't, and they don't have Rocket Sanders.
His numbers are down because they cannot block for him.
They can't protect him, and they don't get in 3rd and 2s.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in a lot of 3rd and long situations, and they're terrible at that, one of the worst in the country.
Just got to come out, play well, and get after it. And they do that every week. They have.
Yep, absolutely.
In the past, that's more of a concern. That this team, they might have a letdown at Missouri. No, they don't. Oh, what about Arkansas? They just had a really big game against Florida. No. Oh, they got to play Auburn a week after Notre Dame. That's a trap game. No, it's not. They just week in and week out, they handle it, and I think they will again.
Keep vanquishing demons.
Yep.
Key number for me, Billy, is 6. 6 different ball carriers touching the ball within the offense. That's Ruben, E.J. Smith, and what he's been doing. Notice how a block on special teams in game 1 for a punt return has then led to more opportunity, and look what he's done with it. Jamarian Morrow, Marcel Reed, Casey, and Craver. All 6 of those guys continue to do what you do, and together, collectively as a group, bridging that gap until Le'Veon Moss gets back.
Ashton Bethel Roman, 2 touchdown performance. Okay.
Ooh, a little bald prediction there. I like it. All right, Liucci. Episode 12 in the books, brother. It's going to be fun. Cannot wait to be back at Kyle Field, bringing the kids. Let's enjoy ourselves a little brunch and watch the Aggies beat the hell out of the Gamecocks this Saturday, 11 o'clock kick at Kyle Field. Gig 'em. Let the good times roll. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.